Oh, right, okay. Growing up has a lot of challenges, and I've done my best to avoid them. And I've managed to make that a pattern from first grade to now. I've worked very hard not to take risks. When you look at me, I don't think you would believe I wouldn't rise to the challenge of everyday young adult experiences, because I'm outgoing, but don't let that fool you. I've hidden behind my personality to avoid doing things that I perceive as risky, but I'm sort of a coward, and that is not necessarily the best way to go. I'd like to teach you a lesson that has been very difficult for me to learn, and I hope you can learn from my experiences. When I was young, I loved all kinds of sports, especially soccer. But once I entered the 6th grade, I didn't try out for my school team, and it wasn't as simple as thinking I wasn't good enough. I knew I was good at soccer, but I didn't want to take the risk of being on a team and making a mistake. I know that sounds silly, but for me, it wasn't something I was willing to do. Soccer wasn't the only experience I avoided. I avoided everything. Because of that, I missed out on a number of opportunities that I probably would have enjoyed, and it wasn't just sports. It was everything. When I started school at Oakridge, I knew I would have to play a sport. Fortunately for me, I was good enough to play golf, but it was still hard for me to be on a team. Except for that, I preferred to manage sports so I wouldn't have to compete. I always knew I was shy, but not in terms of making friends. That has come easy to me. When I think back of all the opportunities that I have missed because I wasn't willing to take a risk, I feel really bad. I have chosen to stay in my comfort zone to avoid doing things like sports or clubs where I wasn't sure I'd be comfortable. I don't think I was afraid of being shy. I think I was afraid to fail. But if you don't take a chance, you fail anyways. I have missed out on so many opportunities because I am not a risk taker. And now that I'm a senior, I will tell you that was a bad mistake. I fulfilled my sport requirements by managing sports at Oakridge, but I think I would have had much more fun if I had chosen to play a sport. Although I've made good friendships since I've been at Oakridge, I probably would have made more friends if I had been willing to take a risk. So my advice to you is that even if you're scared and if you think you're not good enough, take the risk. Because if you don't, you'll miss out on so many opportunities, not just in high school, but in life itself. I'm hoping that I will make a different set of choices in college. I've always wanted to go to school in Colorado, but lately I've been wondering if I want to stay in Texas and be closer to home. I realize that my fear is very much like joining a team, and I really believe that the best thing for me is to take a risk and go away to school. I'm hoping I will have the courage to do so. So I'll encourage you to start taking small risks earlier. Play a sport, try out for the musical, and make a new friend. But don't let life pass you by because you are afraid to take a risk. I've had good years at Oakridge, but my biggest regret is that I've stayed safe, and as a result, I missed many new experiences. So don't let that happen to you. Thank you.